We're on.
Hello everybody, it's Jake Rahman here, and welcome to this next episode of Between Two Simulators. Today we've got a special guest from Elevate Healthcare, Stacie Wood, the Chief Nursing Officer. Thank you very much for joining us, Stacie.
Thank you for the opportunity, Jake. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. There's been so much going on with Elevate. We're going to find out a little bit more about that during the course of the interview, because we're all intrigued.
Yes.
But I just want to find out a little bit about you.
I'd love that,
Stacie. Yeah. So I wonder if you could give us sort of a rundown on your career and your role now within Elevate Healthcare.
Yeah, I would love that. So I am proud to be a registered nurse, first and foremost. I have been in the field of nursing, which has offered me great opportunity over the past almost 25 years. It'll be 25 years this June. I have held roles of staff nurse, of a charge nurse, a clinical educator, risk management, quality, safety, academic clinical instructor. I started a state-of-the-art simulation facility for a large healthcare system, and ultimately felt a calling. I've really looked at nursing as a personal mission to improve healthcare around the world, and an opportunity presented when we were CE Healthcare to come over and do great things.
Fantastic. I mean, it's so good, really, to have that clinical relevance or that clinical credibility with a company, to have a chief nursing officer and chief medical officer. Sometimes within industry, it's not valued quite as much. Okay, but I think it's really, really important.
I couldn't agree more. I think at Elevate Healthcare, and I know we'll talk a little bit more about our journey today, but really having the best of clinicians, educators, those in business, engineering, and technology is really taking us to the forefront of what we're doing.
Yeah. And what about you? Have you got your passport sorted out? Are you? I mean, I know that Elevate is doing quite well in other countries around throughout the regions. Are you ready to travel?
Well, I love to travel first and foremost. Mm-hmm. I also love photography, but I think being ready to meet people where they are and help take them to meet their goals to the next level is really important to me. Mm-hmm. So my passport is ready. I've been stamping it already, and I think it's going to be a great year ahead.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, hope you come over to London soon. I know you said you're going to come over at some point.
Yes, I'd love to go to your local pub, and we'll have some good food. My husband went to culinary school, and so he loves to sample food throughout the world as well.
Fantastic. But, well, don't expect too much in the UK for food, to be honest. So obviously, you're Elevator entering the markets at the moment with a unique situation for healthcare. The global healthcare situation is in a pretty dire state with regard to staff. The workforked is probably demotivated, I would say. Certainly in the UK, and the NHS is demotivated. It's low pay, overworked, lack of resources. I wonder if you could give us your take on that, really.
Yeah, I would love to. My background is both in critical care settings, followed by high-risk obstetrical settings, neonatology, and pediatric intensive care, along with education, quality, and safety. So I really believe in studying the trends, both where I live in my own community, at the state level, the national level, and the global level. Yep. Because often we're much closer together than further apart when it comes to these crises. And I will tell you, as a nurse and as a mother who has children who will need healthcare, I have one son with epilepsy and another son with severe asthma. We need a strong healthcare system, and I'm concerned. Some of the top issues that I see of concern to me are burnout. There's a lot of burnout in the profession at every level. A lot of people talk about the burnout with nurses and physicians, but we're also seeing high levels of burnout in educators, both in the academic setting as well as in the clinical setting. You take that and couple it with experiential knowledge pool training, because people have left the profession. You have new mentors, new professors, new preceptors with not as much experience as they used to. And then we take practice gaps along with that. And when you couple those together, that's a real concern. And so I think at Elevate Healthcare and myself as the Chief Nursing Officer, we're watching. We're not just trying to listen, but we're trying to really hear, to be at the forefront to ensure a proactive approach to these challenges that we are facing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a global problem, like we said. For many reasons, we've got an aging population in as well, so
Indeed.
chronic health issues.
Indeed.
You know, and I think generally as well, just my opinion, that from a financial point of view, people don't value people who care for them as much as people who sell to them, and it's a real cultural change that we've got to do.
Yeah, I think one of the things I've loved about the field of nursing is developing relationships and building trust, not only with my patients, but with the team that I've worked with, both in academic and clinical settings. And the challenges and the rising morbidity and mortality is certainly concerning, knowing that a lot of the challenges we're facing when we look at mortality indicators are preventable, right? One of the areas that we've been studying at Elevate Healthcare is the challenges within obstetrics. We know women are often decision makers in their family. Is that true for you?
Yeah. Probably.
Right?
Yeah.
So women are decision makers in their family, and when there's an impact in maternal health, there's a death, that impacts that family forever. It's a generational impact. And we know that there are great disparities between races and genders right now. So as we look at our solutions, more than a product at Elevate Healthcare, we're really looking at how we can be the bridge towards solutions to solve these challenges.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I mean, solutions companies are always the way, really. We're often presented in what's supposed to be an innovative space with solutions for problems that don't exist.
That's right.
And so it's good to hear that Elevate are really doing that listening exercise. How do you think they're going to calm the storm? How do you think they can contributing to calming the storm of this global situation?
Yeah, I love that. What's interesting, what we're doing at Elevate Healthcare, we've created actually a new department where we have outcome consultants who are educators and nurses and physicians, where we are in the field getting voice of customer, not only with our customer, but people at large in academic institutions and healthcare institutions, so that we're not waiting for the problem to get to us. We're proactive in the field, understanding what these challenges are. And certainly then, if there's interest in our solutions, we're able to offer those as well. But we feel that there is urgency to the challenges before us. And so us proactively going into the field and meeting those who are at the front lines, both in simulation centers, academic facilities, hospitals, EMS, we have to be able to understand their challenges, not just nod our head and listen, but really understand what their needs are and how can we bring diversity and flexibility and efficiency to the challenges they have. It's very important to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I'm not just nodding my head and listening. I'm taking it all in.
I love it.
Every part of it.
Soak it in, Jake. Soak it in.
So one thing that's really struck me, because like I said, the Evo has been brought out, has been released, and it's going to, I think it's a fantastic product. Elevate Healthcare kind of took over, and then we're quiet for a while, and then Evo sprung into life. Tell me everything about Evo.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit of context on that. For me, it's a modular simulator is the holy grail. It's like it covers all areas for diversity. It makes sure that you can go from male to female, age, etc., all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm really interested to understand the concept a little bit more and how it's going to change patient simulation.
I am thrilled to discuss this with you, Jake, and I want to look actually into our camera for a moment, right? So Jake and I, when we talk about Evo, get ready. It is the next generation generation of patient simulators at Elevate Healthcare. This is an ecosystem. It goes beyond simulators, and it is hardware, it is software, it is education, it is training, it is consulting. When we look at the ecosystem, it is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
As we kind of pivot directly to Evo, Evo does allow flexibility, modularity, and efficiency. I want to kind of go through some of the features with you head to toe, if that's okay.
Yeah,
have you seen Evo yet?
I have. I played with it. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for your feedback.
Yeah.
So when we go head to toe at Evo, we do have the first thing often you'll notice is, wow, the skin looks realistic. You do notice the semis. We have had semis with some of our other products.
Yep.
But then you begin, as a clinician and as an educator and an instructor, you begin to touch and feel the product. And when you touch and feel the product, some of the first things people notice are the range of motion and the articulation of the neck. Whether you're looking at really teaching foundational skills such as assessment or NG tube, or more complex skills like intubation, Evo meets those needs. And as you keep going and you begin to immerse yourself in everything that Evo offers, you understand that there's voice modularity, right? So you can have a young voice, a middle-aged voice, an elderly voice that corresponds with what you want to input into our powerful software system, which is Maestro. Certainly the modularity of the limbs is fantastic. And it's so easy. What I love about the limbs and what I love about Evo in general is that as you touch the mannequin, listen and auscultate, take off the arms, it really gives you, on our avatar, on our screen, it's telling you what you're doing. If you're doing it right, if you're doing it not, it is your guide. It is really your best friend. In addition, all of the data is tracked in our powerful learning assessment tracker, and all of that data is exportable so you can understand what your learners are seeing, touching, doing, and really taking your education to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, I had a look at, I was with Tim yesterday.
Wonderful.
He showed me around it, and I have to say I was really impressed. One thing, from my point of view, looking at patient simulators, and I've seen a lot of them in my time, was exactly that, the articulation, the way the jaw moves, the way the head moves.
That's right.
I thought it was fantastic. The skin feels really good as well. But the one thing that strikes me, and really because I wrote a proposal on it a few years ago on something very similar, was the use of CAN bus so you can change the arms and legs over.
Correct.
And now CAN bus has been used in the automotive industry for decades.
That's right.
And I've always struggled to understand why in patient simulation it wasn't brought into today. It seems like the most natural way to do it.
Absolutely.
And finally, you guys are doing it. And that's why I call it the Holy Grail,
I love
a modular simulator. So I'm really impressed.
I love that, Jake. And I think, when you referred earlier, there was a little bit of quiet, right? Kind of before this energy and this push forward. That is because doing it right for our customers, for the patients, for the students, it's the right thing to do it right and not rush our products to market. In addition, when we talk about thought, there's also being in a war room together, making sure that every aspect of it, from the internal design to the external design to how our educators will go deliver the training, how our consultants will understand the evolving solutions and how Evo can respond. It's important to get this right. We know that. We're proud of what we're offering to the market. And I think the other thing that we know is that diversity is important, equity is important, but also respectful care is very important. So really drawing synergy to all of those elements has been part of this great process.
I can see that. I mean, what about the geeks that you stick in a little room in the background, the R&D guys?
That's right.
What about giving them a bit of a big up and telling us about those guys and their challenges that they had to overcome?
I would love that. we have a fantastic team abroad, a fantastic team in Montreal, a fantastic team in North America. But what we've seen is when there's challenges, we come together. We can't live in silos anymore. We can't gatekeep anymore. So before, in certain companies, possibly engineers have not worked in the same rooms or had collaboration with educators. We're bringing a completely collaborative team together, and our engineers, and certainly go talk to them today. They're like, this is fantastic, the collaboration that we're having. This collaboration and this synergy in our company is and will take us to the next level because we're all passionate, right? And we want everybody's voice to be heard at the table. So when we are designing an airway, when we're designing software, that everybody's voice is heard. Our engineers are fantastic. And when you bridge that with the business minds and software, hardware, educator minds in the company, Jake gets a palpable energy in the room.
I can see it. It's really starting to define the new narrative of what you guys are doing.
That's right.
So just a couple of questions to end with, really. I'm asking everybody this, but who are your heroes in whether it's healthcare or healthcare simulation? Who inspired you?
It actually goes long before I got in healthcare. Obviously, I do have those in healthcare who are my mentors, who I'll tell you about, but it actually goes back to when I was a child. My grandmother, who I lovingly call Nana, she has passed away, but when I was a young girl, she was not a nurse by trade, but she would bring ill family members into the home and care for them. And I saw the tender, loving care she provided, both in our home and as we transitioned family members who were ill to a hospital. I saw the love and the care and the relationships that she had, and I knew as a young girl that I wanted to use or tap into that in some way. I didn't know how until I began exploring healthcare in high school and in college. But my mother will lovingly tell you, and I actually have this, my other grandmother was a World War II nurse. And my mother said that I always ran around the house saying I wanted to be a baby nurse when I was growing up. And so it was quite interesting and quite lovely that at my pinning ceremony, when I became a nurse, that my grandmother, who was the World War II nurse, brought her pin in her nursing hat, and that's how I was pinned, which was lovely. Now, as we look at, when we look at who really my heroes are in healthcare, as I started first in the hospital setting, it's been the patients that I've sat with at the bedside, their families when there's been a loss, and they're my heroes. I have other really strong, I would say, mentors in life. One of my first early mentors, her name was Ann Volmer. She was an obstetrical nurse with me in Ohio. And then several other mentors as we look. I'm very involved with an organization called Sonova, which is a nurse leadership organization. And Lori Gunther and Melissa Gale are also some of my mentors. In the simulation industry, it would be really hard for me to choose because in addition to our fabulous team at Elevate Healthcare, we work with a great team of adjuncts in the industry who provide subject matter expertise. In being in a room with them, I would say I'm constantly in awe, and I continue to find new mentors in the industry every day. As a nurse and as an educator, never stop learning. Continue to find your mentors.
I agree with that as well, because there's so many people that could be inspirational.
Absolutely.
Even in this room, and the people the early people into healthcare simulation. The reason why we're here today.
100%.
Fantastic. A question that I'm asking everybody is, what are your thoughts on regulation of the industry? Okay, what are your thoughts on in comparison to the fact that we're aligned with the pharmaceutical industry, we're aligned with the medical device industry, and medical simulation seems to be almost a wild west.
Indeed.
So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's really interesting because my father was in the Air Force growing up. I have many people in the military. My father was a pilot, and we understand that there's a lot of correlation between medical simulation and healthcare in the aviation industry, and the kind of the checklist mentality, building strong systems. And so I believed in simulation as a young girl when my father trained in cockpit flight simulators. So I saw that early, and then as I progressed in my career and really was in a risk management role for a health system, what I noted is that the challenges that faced us were communication issues, denial and delay within the healthcare system, variability and lack of standardization. And I found that all of those things were so well employed and could be trained with teamwork and collaboration and communication in simulation that I would love to see a set of guidelines. I would love to see standards and getting everyone in the industry collaborating versus competing. And I think when we do that, we will be a force where we can lobby together, where we can stand tall together and communicate the urgent needs.
Yeah, and I think that's a great answer. And I think in industry as well, there are some elements that I think, if it was possible for the industry to come together and agree not to compete on, so certain aspects of simulation can be improved properly.
Agree. It's all hands in. It's all hands in. And I would like to throw it out there to all the listeners, those in the industry who are looking for collaboration, who are looking for support, who are looking to do great things together. Call me, reach out to me. I'm here to listen, and I'm here to help solve challenges with you.
That's fantastic. I mean, that's exactly a response we want. So just to end the interview, give us a shameless plug of Elevate. Can you give us a little teaser of anything that's going to happen in the future?
Let's do it, Jake.
Yeah.
So in addition to Evo, I certainly spoke about our ecosystem. And I think, as we talk about simulators, that's important. But what we're also debuting here at IMSH are 11 new powerful outcomes-based education programs that are really in a tiered structure of allowing foundational safety knowledge, simulation knowledge, and specialty knowledge really in any field that is of interest, whether that's obstetrics to critical care to EMS. We're debuting these programs. In addition, we're offering a new program, and it's called Achieve. Achieve is a program for tailored solutions where we are able to do clinical gap analysis, training needs analysis, custom work for customers, program development in simulation centers, really understanding what are the needs in your center, despite where it's at or what what part of healthcare it's in, and let's get together and let's do it. Because I know people are challenged in healthcare, right, with not having enough staff, with not having enough funding. Our team is able to come in and provide additional resources to organizations. In addition, I want you to think about what you've seen with Evo, and now think about what that would look like on a diverse array in our ecosystem, but improving and being cutting edge above even what you've seen today, and making sure, again, that it is thoughtful and that we are meeting you where you are, but we are absolutely, no pun intended, we're going to help you elevate and take you to the next level.
Brilliant. I mean, thanks for sharing all that information for us. One of the key things that I got from that really was about the programs. It's an interesting point that people buy into healthcare simulation, people buy products, and sometimes institutions get all the products, all the hardware, and then where next? How do we get it going? And that's really important to
absolutely.
To have
Jake, I don't want our products to sit in a closet because someone doesn't know how to use it. I want customers to be able to maximize their investment and promote a culture of learning. Our team is ready, willing, and able to help customers do that. And really, I will tell you, I want to bring our customers into our Elevate family because that's what we are. Together, we join. It's not necessarily a customer-client relationship. It's how do we become partners and trusted advocates of one another.
Wow. Okay, so Stacie, that's brilliant.
Thanks
very
Jake.
much.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Well, we're all going to be looking to see what's going on. We'll be back later on for some more Between Two Simulators. But again, thank you very much, Stacie.
Thanks, Jake.
Really appreciate
and thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Max.